All right, I'm going to start this video off with an apology of sorts. There has been a noise in my videos recently, and I don't know how. It's this webcam. I sit on the computer and I get some noise. And if I sit it on the actual modem over here, it gets a lot louder. And yet, I don't hear anything from the modem that should be picked up by, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of dog whistle setting on the camera. I have no idea. So having it sitting up there seems to fix the sound problem. So you get a more widescreen view of what I've done to Yvonne's poor room in the months I've been here. And no, I still haven't changed the calendar. Now today's Groundhog Day, and Groundhog Day, of course, is one of the greatest movies of all time, starring Bill Murray as his awesomeness. And I figured that, for a movie that's about every, repeating and repeating and repeating, I would take a look at if people could do it over again, how they do it differently. Now, in this case, what I'm talking about is in this wonderful magazine from 2003, 2004, this was the year of the infamous punch. And this was back at a time when you could use sex to advertise uh, sports pools. Yeah, that's for hockey pools. Speaking of which, Yvonne plans on doing the update tonight. We'll probably do the video on it tomorrow. Um, she won't be in a bikini. Not gonna happen. Um, so talk about trophies. Look at numbers. See, it's funny. Mel Bridgman Award for Worst Performance as a GM. Nominees are Glenn Sather, signing Kasperitis and Halik for that much money. Glenn Sather took way too long to replace the injured Mike Richter. Or Glenn Sather for hiring Brian Trottier and Glenn Sather as coaches. So Glenn Sather, who helped to turn the Rangers into something, you know, before Gorton took over, worst GM. Ken Linsman Award for Most Hated Player. Matthew Barnaby, the Rangers, had a good season, even more reason to hate him. Alexei Yashin, Islanders, enough said. Darcy Tucker, Toronto, like a yappy little lapdog. Shut up. And the winner is Alexei Yashin. Dr. Evil Award, person doing the most harm to hockey. Bob Goodenow for not realizing hockey can't afford these salaries. Think about that one for a minute. The salaries were a lot lower at the time this was produced than they are now. Gary Bettman for not admitting there's anything wrong with the game, and coaches for sucking the entertainment of the hockey. And the winner is, for the first time ever, a three-way tie. Steve Casper Award for worst coach. Daryl Sutter / Ron Wilson of San Jose. This team missed the playoffs. Think about that one for a minute. For anybody who wants to talk about a bad coach, Daryl Sutter and Ron Wilson, San Jose, and missed the playoffs. Michelle Therry in Montreal. Sha na na na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. Oh yeah, yeah, we're going there. Brian Trottier, the Rangers, may have been a plant by the Islanders, and the winner is Brian Trottier. Brian Lawton Award for biggest underachiever. Yuri Depita of Edmonton, tons of skill, a complete failure as an NHLer. Alexander Dagan, Pittsburgh, the league didn't miss him at all. Pavel Brendel of Carolina, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and the winner is Yuri Depita. Worst goaltender, and the nominees are Byron Dafoe in Atlanta in limited action. His save percentage was .862. Artur Survey in Carolina played his way out of the NHL, maybe forever. And Roman Cechmanek, Philadelphia, playoff edition. Better luck in LA. And the winner is Artur Survey. He did have a rough exit from the NHL. It was rough. Not pleasant. Late moves, we don't care about that. Fantasy hockey, get the edge. These are all blue chippers. We're not worried about that. Breaking through. And here we go. These are the players that This magazine says they're gonna come out. This is part of the reason why I don't really try to speculate on a lot of the young kids. Today I watched as Craig Button talked about how he doesn't think William Nylander is going to be a long-term part of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's not a key guy. He's not skilled enough. He's not a core guy. He doesn't try hard enough. Every time I watch the Leafs, he looks fine to me. He's not Matthews. He's not Marner. He's not. He's not going to be. He's just a very good player who's going to score 60 points a season. And for some reason, you got to get rid of him. He doesn't try hard enough. He's a rookie. God's sake. So breaking through, Ramsey Abid of Pittsburgh. The big winner will prove to be an ideal option for the Maryland Mule line in 2003-2004. Can't wait to see Ramsey Abid in action. Then they have Brian Berard. He did better. Mike Comrie was fine. Simon Gagne was fine. Martin Havlat, fine. Damon Lanko, he was fine. Vinny Lecavalier, yep. David Lewan, yep. Paul Mara. Nice physical package. Mara is finally starting to deliver the goods in the desert. His offense dried up faster than the desert. Patrick Marleau, Alexei Morozov with the Penguins. Before injury last year, he was one of AHL's top scorers. It could happen again. It didn't. Derek Morris with the Avalanche. Brandon Morrow with the Stars. Henrik Sedin with the Canucks. Mike York with the Oilers. So while somewhat undersized, York will continue to progress into an important scorer in Edmonton. Yes, absolutely, he didn't. On the rise, Nick Antropov at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Injuries are now behind him, so Antropov will continue to rise up the Leafs depth chart. Denis Arkhipov with the Predators struggled in 2002-2003, but the two-way Russian pivot should contribute more in the future. Yeah. Jay Bouwmeester with the Panthers, an awesome skater. Young Bouwmeester will soon see his point production rise exponentially. And then he left Florida for Calgary. Eric Brewer with the Oilers. While he's established an all-around game, Brewer's offensive totals are still improving. Stanislav Chistov of the Mighty Ducks. An electrifying skater, Chistov could be the heir to Paul Kariya's throne in Anaheim. No. Absolutely not, no. Alexander Frolov of the Kings. After a learning experience as a rookie, Frolov should improve his totals in 2003-2004. There's a theme here. Russian players often are overrated, too much is expected of them too soon, and they're slick players, they're skilled players, but if that speed loses at all, if any of their speed leaves them at all, they're just done because they don't offer a lot of what you need in the NHL. I'm not a huge Don Cherry supporter, but he's got a point when it comes to some of the skilled European types that, yeah, once their speed's gone, there's no point in having them. Brian Giunta, Scott Hartnell, Alish Hemsky, Nico Kapanen, a center with the Stars. The Finnish pivots played a stellar checking role as a rookie, but has more offense to offer. Andrei Markov with the Canadiens. That's how old this is. Markov's on the rise. Rick Nash, Oleg Saprikin with the Flames. The Russian winger came up strong late last season, which bodes well for 2003-2004. There's a pattern here. Daniel Sedin, Radim Verbata, stolen from the Avalanche at the trade deadline. Verbata has a golden future as a scorer. He actually hasn't been too bad. And then Henrik Zetterberg is in there as well. Keep an eye on Stu Barnes with the Stars. So this is just, if you're doing a fantasy draft, look for these guys. Jan Bolas, Canadiens. He had an excellent all-around campaign for the Habs last season. Can he do it again? No. Chris Drury, Adam Hall with the Predators. Big Hall provides badly needed presence and scoring potential for the Predators. Sean Horkoff, Christian Huselius, Yarmir Yager, Alexei Kovalov, Pavel Kubina, Mario Lemieux, Jordan Leopold. While Calgary has plenty of defensive depth, no Flames blue liner can match his offensive ability. Peter Nedved, oh God. Rob Niedermeyer, following an awesome playoff performance, Niedermeyer may be asked to fill a bigger scoring role. He really didn't. He just stayed bottom six and was solid. Ville Nieminen, after flaming out in Pittsburgh, Nieminen must rediscover his 2000-2001 form quickly, and he didn't. Taylor Pyatt, He has the power forward potential, but is there room for Pyatt as a top 6 forward in Buffalo? No, and there isn't in Vancouver either. Actually, he did play one decent season with the Sedins, and then for whatever reason, it never happened again. Michael Rupp with the Devils. The Game 7 hero should see regular ice time at the start of 2003-2004, perhaps as a two-way center. He never showed that offense either. Peter Schaefer with the Senators. Schaefer was dormant throughout 2002-2003, but picked his game up significantly in the playoffs, and that's where it stopped. Martin Skula, Corey Stillman with the Lightning, Peter Sikora with the Ducks, David Vaborny, Danis Zubris. Sleepers. See, this is the funny thing. This is what I like about these magazines that get into the whole bet on these guys. It's everybody. Mike Camilleri, Brian Campbell, Jonathan Chichu, Rico Fata with the Penguins. The speedy winger looked good in his brief stint with the Penguins last year and is worth watching. So, Ramsey Abid and Rico Fata with the Penguins. What the Penguins do now with young players is what they tried to do 15 years ago, and it just didn't work. Marcel Hossa with the Canadiens. The Slovakian will try to escape the shadow of sharpshooting brother Marion. At my job, my friend Chris and I used to call him the bad Hossa. Marcel Hossa was just the bad Hossa. Oh, Hossa scored last night. Good Hossa or bad Hossa? Bad Hossa. Wow, really? Who did he score against? Ivan Hummel with the Bruins enjoyed a great early run in Boston last year, but faded quickly and returned to the AHL. Yeah, I don't think he ever came back. Chris Kalanos with the Coyotes. Concussion woes are hopefully behind the talented Kalanos, who has natural goal scoring ability. Alexander Korolyak, Jamie Lundmark, Steve McCarthy with the Blackhawks. Remember him, Canucks fans? There should be a spot on the Hawks blue line for the mobile McCarthy to grab in 2003-2004. He'll drop it. Alan McCauley. Ivan Novoseltsev for the Panthers. If the speedy Russian winger ever found consistency, he'd become a scoring menace to society. This is what I'm talking about. Every Russian he's going to be a big scorer. It's going to happen. He's going to be a big scorer. Camille Piros with the Thrashers. He has a chance to see significant ice time on a scoring line with the up-and-coming Thrashers. He was Czech. So that's not a Russian. That's Czech. Mike Ribeiro. Go to hell. Nick Schultz, Jason Spezza, Yaroslav Svoboda with the Hurricanes. He endured a tough 2002-2003 season, but showed flashes of offensive potential for the Canes. Joseph Vasicek, Derek Walzer. Not well known, Walzer's put up points at all levels before the NHL. His defense may be the key. He was a Blue Jacket. He never made it. But in old NHL games on EA Sports, he was fantastic. Walzer was awesome. And Matthias Weinhandel with the Islanders. The Swedish winger has been knocking on the door. It's time to kick it down once and for all. And there was a poster on the Canucks forums years back that every time you turned around, he was talking about Matthias Weinhandel should be signed by the Canucks to play with the Sedins because they played well at the World Championships. Yeah, so did Louis Eriksson. How did that turn out? And then the don't overrates. But it's funny because I look back on this time and who are the players now? I'm not going to speculate. But that's the question here. Who are the players now who are overrated? Which of the current crop of young forwards that we look at and go, this guy's going to be great? Which one is going to struggle? All right. So I've got this year's Puller's Guide. So I'm going to do a quick run through on some guys here that are in that same at that same level where we're like they're going to take off. Which ones aren't going to? They got Sven Andrighetto in here that they projected for 33 points. He had 17 last year. Andreas Athanasiou in Detroit has all the earmarks of either. He could go either way. He really could. I know he's got a lot of talent, but a lot of these other kids I've discussed from 0304 did too. But he's got a lot of those same earmarks. He's really fast. The numbers haven't backed him up yet. And they don't always. Josh Bailey never did reach the level he was supposed to. There's Sam Bennett in Calgary. His numbers have taken a step back this year from where he was as a rookie last year. Reed Boucher, of course. Right now, looks like he's AHL bound. Bjorkstrand played 12 games last year. He's played 5 games this year. Is he on the pace to become another European that doesn't quite make it? I'm just looking for guys who haven't played a lot of games that are being predicted to be, you know, good scorers in the league. Connor struggled more with Winnipeg this season than was expected. I had a lot of people over the summer like, what do you think of Connor? What do you think of Connor? I'm like, I haven't seen Connor. He played university. I have no idea. Marco Dano, at this point, looks like he could very well be one of those guys who just never quite makes it. See, I'm into the D's already. It's really hard to find guys. Anthony Duclair could be a guy who flames out. That could happen, which would make the Rangers feel a little bit better about having given him up. There's got to be some others in here. Just discuss amongst yourselves. Montreal lost tonight to Philly. That made me feel good. I don't know how you guys feel about that. We had a troll on the page tonight. I would like to thank guys for, you know, not jumping all over the troll. When I spot a troll, I just mute him. Don't worry about it. Don't even respond. I'll find it and deal with it. Because when the comments pop up on my phone, so when you make a comment on my channel, it pops up on my phone, and I look and I go, that's not right. And then I go in and just start, you know, deleting shit. Yes, for fast. Well, they didn't predict he was going to go up. Radic Faxa, they kind of predicted he was going to go up, but I don't know. It is a tricky deal though. The whole predicting where rookies are going to head, where young players are going to head. Zemgus Girgensons looks like after, you know, 3 seasons in the NHL, and this may be his last. I honestly think Buffalo may get rid of him, and he could end up just going to Europe. Seth Griffith has bounced around the NHL quite a bit this year, but he wasn't predicted to be a really, you know, fantastic player either. There was a lot of talk about Eric Halla coming out of the playoffs a couple years ago. He really hasn't lived up to potential either, which is funny because Minnesota has been pretty damn solid for scoring. And I'm not saying Hall is a bad player. I'm just saying they overestimated his offense based on his playoff run. I would have been told a year ago that I was overestimating Horvat. Yarncroc was overrated after Yarncroc was overrated after he came over from Detroit. A little bit, not a lot. A little bit. This is tough. I'm like, oh yeah, I can find all kinds of guys. Not really. So either scouting has got a lot better, or I'm just not seeing the forest for the trees. Maybe I'm still wrapped up in what players could be and not seeing the reality that certain players just aren't going to be in the league much longer that haven't been in it for very long to start with. And it was still a 30-team league, so it's not like he didn't have just as many jobs back then either. Mitch Marner, they predicted for 48 points. I think he's going to smash that. Austin Matthews is projected for 52. He's going to smash that. Vladislav Nemesnikov, they project for 38. You know, I honestly don't know. I don't know. He's another one I don't know if he's going to be a long-term NHLer. I have my doubts. With the Europeans, the other thing is they do have the European leagues, and the European players, they're from Europe. That's why they're called Europeans, meaning that if they want to go play at home, I don't blame them, especially if they're going to make more money at home. Like this one here, this Valerian Nichushkin. And no, Dallas doesn't miss him. We got enough guys out there screwing up with the puck every night. See, Nylander, they predicted for 41 points this year. He's going to smash that. I don't get it. He's only 20 years old, but he's tallied 77 points, 75 games. In the AHL, that's not bad, not counting 22 games. The 13 points with the Maple Leafs last year, Babcock's thinking of using right wing so he can find him a spot in the top 6. And apparently it was a quote where Babcock said he envisioned Nylander as a center, and that left Craig Button going, well, he's not gonna take over for Kadri, and he's not gonna take over for Matthews, so he's on his way out the door. No. No. Well, Bozak's going to go then. No, it's not what it means, but go ahead and just keep projecting, guys. Just project all over it. Look at this. I'm all the way into the P's already, and it's like, no. Maybe it's just better now. Well, they did project Puljujärvi for 40 points this year, but as I've said in previous videos, you can't write him off yet. No, they predicted Pouliot would get 34. Now, of course, he had 36 last year, 34 the year before that, 36 the year before that. So, yeah, it makes sense. Corey Perry, can't stand him. Purcell, Radulov. Radulov, they'd had pegged for 49 points, 22 goals. Victor Rask, Matt Reed. Maybe we have come further in the last 15 years than I'm giving scouts credit for. Riley Sheehan, who has 48 games and 7 points, no goals this year. I couldn't believe when I saw that stat line today. That's insanity. That's absolute insanity. Simmons, Sheary. I would say, oh yeah, Sheary could potentially fall off the map, but I really don't think he will. Carl Soderberg's kind of fallen off the map this year, though. I stated over a year ago that I thought Boston letting him go to Colorado for that $4.75 million cap hit. I said that's too much for Soderberg, and I heard, oh no, that's a good signing. I'm like, it is? That was before I had this channel, but it was like, wait, that's a good... Did somebody see something with Carl Soderberg I didn't see in Boston? Because I didn't think it was a big deal. Spooner, Stahl, Stafford, Stamkos, Steen, Stastny, Stempniak, Stepan, Stone, Strome. Strome they had projected for 39 points. The other Strome they had projected for 46. So, see again, this is well, Ryan Strome didn't make it the first 3 seasons. We think he still will, because he had that 50 points back in 14-15, so we think he's still going to bounce back. Yeah, he notched 50 points in 14-15 at the age of 21 before picking up 28 points and spending some time in the American Hockey League last year. How do you account for such a reversal? It's hard to say, but the consensus is that Strome is capable of rebounding with the notable departure of Kyle Okposo. I don't think that helped him. Tatar's kind of flamed out. Teravainen, I'm still not sold on Teravainen. People keep telling me I'm wrong, but I'm not. Matt Tkachuk, who's getting a reputation around the league as a prick, and I can't deny it based on my eyeballs and video footage. And if he continues the prickish behavior, I will rescind my objection to the Canucks not drafting him. Because his dad was a tough power forward, but I don't remember him being dirty and cheap. I remember Keith Tkachuk being the guy that made me on my TV, even when he played on teams I didn't cheer for. Toffoli, Taves, Trocheck, Turris, Van Riemsdyk, Vanek. Vetrano could be overrated in the long term, but I don't think he is. I think he's fantastic. VC, definitely not overrated. Lyndon Bay, the fact they have Lyndon Bay as playing for Calgary is kind of weird. I don't think he's in the NHL right now. Not looking at the current stats, just they have him projected to be in the lineup. Jake Virtanen definitely has the potential to be a bust, sadly. And that's really it. Well, Zaka they've got with 30 points. He potentially could be a bust. I know Devils fans are going to be all over me for that, but the numbers don't lie. He could be viewed as a bust 5 years from now. And part of the thing to remember with sports is you have a very, very limited window. You have like 1 or 2 years to prove yourself. And after that, it's gone. So, here we go. A comparison of years ago, all these guys projected they're going to be great. Compared to now, where most of the guys who are projected to get better actually do. So as I said, either scouting's got a lot better, or we've tempered our expectations, or I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you think's overrated? Um, and don't say Austin Matthews because he'd be wrong. Don't say Patrick Laine because he'd be wrong. And who do you think is most likely to flame out of the young players playing right now? I'd say between the ages of 19 and 22. And who's going to sneak up on us and bite us in the ass and prove us all wrong? So let me know that in the comments, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Hopefully any of the clicking weird issues appear to be coming from something, either this or this, and hopefully this has resolved that issue. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to y'all again soon.